Well, hi everybody and welcome. This is Gloria with Link Sherpa, and I've got a treat for you on LinkedIn, just kind of networking and stuff with LinkedIn. I had a really fantastic lady reach out to me. She's new to the area that I recently moved to, and so what we decided to do was just have a nice chat, and lo and behold, she's awesome and has a lot of information. So I kind of twisted her arm to do an interview in the hopes that some of the wisdom that she has from working at home and building this online business will kind of help you guys. So I want you to give a warm welcome, and I want to introduce Donna Woolham from theworkathomequeen.com. And Donna, say hi to everybody.
Hey, Gloria, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. And I do love LinkedIn for that very reason here. Now, you and I have made an incredible connection, and you have such great wisdom around LinkedIn. So it really, really has helped me. And I just want to say hi to all of your fans and friends. And thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, you bet. I'm really excited because I kind of want to pick your brain and, just I know that there are a lot of people that I work with that have, purchased some of my products through the years that are getting this email with the site or visiting my YouTube channel that, have struggled, kind of either feast or famine or struggled or not sure where to go. And so the best way, I think some of the best wisdom is somebody that's kind of walked before them, that's been able to do it successfully. And so can we just have a little conversation? I'm going to kind of pick your brain, ask you some questions. I do have some prepared questions, and let's just talk and see, what comes of it. So tell us first of all, like what it is that you do.
Okay, I show myself in the world a couple of different ways, but primarily what I do is I work with ambitious female entrepreneurs who are wanting to build a business from home, and that can be anything. So I work with a lot of different kinds of women, what I call artisan crafters who do beautiful hand kinds of work, to the gal who doesn't want anybody to know she's even around except on her online space where she has a blog and she has some products, maybe even just a one-off product that she offers. So there's a broad spectrum of those women, and a lot of the women that I work with have a faith-based point of view, and so I do as well. So I work with those women. Now, when I say primarily women, I do have men in my community that I work with. So I'm an equal opportunity work with person.
Right.
But I don't have any problems working with men. It's just that working with women is how my business has evolved, and I do that through one-on-one private coaching. I do that through group programs, and I have Skills School for female entrepreneurs through my blog, and that's filled with all kinds of training that a woman or man can do on their own, kind of DIY. So, and I do a lot of public speaking as well. So, like I said, I show up in the world in a lot of different ways.
A lot of different ways. Yeah, that is awesome. Have you had an opportunity to do any public speaking here locally where we are?
No, I haven't, and I would love that opportunity, but no, I have not. I have just honestly not invested the time to reach out to those particular people, and that's something that's on my radar for the rest of this year.
Yeah. Now, I know you said a couple of key things right there. When I asked you, you said, I have not invested the time. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really important because I just got done reading the 10X rule by Grant Cardone, where he basically says, it's going to take like 10 times longer than you think, 10 times more your budget. You kind of put in what you get out of it. So if you're only investing, like if you're not investing the time in building the relationships, of course you're not going to get public, speaking gigs. Or if we translate that to other areas of people's businesses, like if you don't invest the time in marketing, you're not going to get the people, you're not going to get the potential customers, basically. So I think that's really important. And you're absolutely right. So you've been a coach for about how long?
Well, I've really been a coach for over 15 years. I've worked with women for over, and women-led groups for over 25 years, but I went into a sales business, and part of what I did was coaching the people on my team. And so I would coach them through all of the different aspects of building their business and making sure that they were earning the income that they needed to earn. And about, I guess it's 6 years ago, my husband became very, very ill, and all of my business just stopped for 2 years solid. And then about 2.5 years, I started kind of playing around, and it's one of those questions, what do I want to be when I grow up? Now that I'm at a kind of a restart point, what do I want to be? And I really felt like that what I was supposed to do is take all of those years of experience and turn them into a business. And one of the things that I love, love, love doing is working with people to first define what success means to them, because it means a lot of different things, and then help them get that. And that is most powerfully done, I believe, through personal coaching. So probably about 5 years, I've been what I call on my own in the coaching space, but I've been a coach for a long time.
Okay, yeah, so you just basically, you took all of your experience and then you just translated it and just decided to do it for yourself. And I think a lot of people do that, is they have this great experience and they want to kind of strike out on their own. And a lot of times, whenever you strike out on your own, it can be quite scary. There's, you don't know what information you need. You don't know how to get started and stuff like that. So I agree that sometimes that coaching is really, really critical for that. So let's talk about false starts. Did you have any?
Well, let's see. One, two, three. Yeah. Let's see. What year did I not have false starts?
Yeah.
So, yes, I did. And I bring that down to one point, is not being clear. I think clarity gets rid of all of that clutter in our mind and in our life. And when you're not clear about the direction you want to go, when you're not clear about the people that you want to, and this is big, about the people you want to serve, if you're not clear about that, you will chase every rabbit trail to get to where you think your destination is. But once you are clear about that, who you want to serve, how you want to serve them, and what they need, because that's critical. One of my worst false starts is having this big dream in my heart that it's going to create this mega course, which is absolutely incredible and is part of Skill School, but nobody was asking me for that course. And so I spent weeks and weeks developing it and then launched it to crickets. Now, when people go through it, they're mind blown. It's powerful for them. So sometimes people don't know what they need. They just know what they want. And so as soon as I learned how to give people what they want, then everything began to fall into place beautifully. But yeah, if you're just out there winging it and don't have a clear direction and you don't have the discipline to do that, you're just going to have a lot of false starts.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really key point. I have had a lot of appointments lately. It seems like in this past, I don't know, month or something like that. And I'm sorry, my hair was bothering me a bit. I would talk to people, and I'm big on, do your avatar and all of the training that I do. One of the first things is like, if you have not defined your customer and really kind of like get, know them almost intimately, know what their pain is, know what their problem, know their stress, what's keeping them up at night, their fear, what makes them, not only their fear on the, like not positive side, but when they achieve what they want, what does that look like for them? Kind of those things. And if you don't really have an idea of what that looks like for your ideal customer, then you're just going to kind of be, it's going to be very difficult because you probably offer a really good service, product or service, but you're not going to be able to connect to your audience because you don't know who they are. So it's kind of like, the billboard effect where you have to put this billboard up and then, you're just hoping for like a bunch of traffic or people to drive by and then someone to look up to say, yeah, I need that. I'm going to contact, something like that. I'm going to call that number that's usually on the billboards or, just connect with that person. So I think that's so critical. And I talk a lot about the bright, shiny object syndrome, and you hit it on the head with the reason why that happens, I think, is not only, it's not being clear. And when you're not clear, not only not clear, but not having a really good understanding and the patience to say, look, it takes a little bit of time to build a real business, because a lot of the, in the online space, you kind of see free, quick, and easy, make $43,000 a month, and you're going to do it like right away, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And people buy into that type of stuff. And I think it's, it does not serve them. And you were talking about serving. It always has to be a good match with what you have and what they need or want, right? What they want and need. A lot of times they want something, not knowing what they need, or they're looking, or they want, really what they want is like their pain to go away.
Yeah.
They want some component of their business or life or whatever to be better. And so they're looking for answers for that. So yeah, you hit it on the head. Just like if that is, like you said, the one thing is clarity, and I agree. Clarity, the customer avatar, know who your customer is. And once you know them, I think it does more, because once you really know them, you look at them, in a more compassionate way, right? You're just not like, oh, dollar signs in your eyes. Let me see what I can make off of this deal, something like that. And you have some empathy. And I think it's really important on a couple levels, because there's something really powerful when you approach people and you're authentic. You genuinely want to help people. You genuinely have a heart for what you're doing. You genuinely want to see them succeed. You genuinely want to help them make the pain go away. I mean, when they get that from you, then people can tell. They can tell a shyster from somebody that's real, I think, and how they get that from you is by you kind of getting to know who that customer persona is. And the more you know them, the more that'll come through. And then what magically happens is that people get that from you and they trust you, they know, like, and trust you, and then they feel safe in, ultimately purchasing your product or service. Yeah. I mean, I think it doesn't have to be a hard sell at that point. It really doesn't, if you kind of do it, but you're right, it starts with that whole customer thing. So, so how long did it take you to gain traction? Like, once you were saying, I got how long did it take you? Let me just ask you that. How long would it take you to get some real traction? And maybe we could do a follow-on question, like, what types of things and activities did you have to do to actually get that traction?
It probably took, once I really got clear, so let's underscore that I probably spent way too long trying to figure it out, because part of that, and I just want to dovetail on knowing what your customer needs, is also knowing yourself.
Yes.
And valuing your experience and your expertise and the core of who you are. And to really understand that what you have, no matter what level you're in, maybe you're pretty close to being a beginner, or maybe you've been in your space for years and years, that there's always someone behind you that needs your help. And so really understanding that what you have is valuable and it's enough to offer. It's enough to get out there. So once I gained clarity on that about myself and about my audience, that was probably a good year and a half, because I spent a lot of time trying to fit into someone else's mold. And as I mentioned, I kind of come from a faith-based place, and there was this attitude in the market, or some of the people in the market, oh, you can't do that. You can't be bold and out there about what you do. And so I hid myself a lot. I didn't feel authentic.
Right.
Once I reached that place of authenticity, then I had more confidence. So let's just talk about maybe a year and a half. And what I did for that is I just began to make sure that my messaging was clear across all my social media channels. I made sure that what I wanted to offer was powerful and good. And let me just say that just because it's someone else's opinion of what you should offer does not mean it's the best thing for your audience. So you have to, because I had done that under advice of someone, really created this piece of free content, and it never felt right. So you have to come back, I just pound my fist. You have to come back to the core of who you are and what you're offering if you want people to trust you, because they can tell that it's not really you. So it's marketing and learning how to do marketing properly, that you don't have to be everywhere. You have to be where your people are. Now, I do have lots of, I'm across all the major social media channels. I really try to make sure that I touch those every single week and put some sort of content up there. But I know that a lot of the women that I want to serve are in two main places, and they are in LinkedIn for sure, and likely on Facebook. And so I really highlight my marketing pieces there, though I can say that I'm getting a lot of feedback from Instagram these days. So that you just really have to play with that. So marketing, I've done some advertising, and you have to understand that when you do advertising, when you're first starting out, sometimes you're going to launch ads and nothing's going to happen, and you're going to have to figure out what's wrong with your messaging, what you're not saying and what you are saying that is making people just scroll past what you have to offer. And it's so a lot of different pieces. How I gained traction was being, one, true to my core values and my core message. Number two, being true to the audience that I wanted and want to serve, and making sure that I just keep working on that messaging all the time. And number three, understanding where my audience is and do my very best to get that message to them in that place. And when you do that consistently, when you have daily discipline, what I know about a lot of work-at-home women is they feel like they work all the time because they're in their home, but they're just thinking about working, not actually working. You have to become a CEO-minded woman, CEO-minded man. If you're going to work at home, you've got to put your work shoes on and you've got to set yourself down and do the work, whatever that is, and you need to make sure that you discipline that. That being said, you don't have to do it 24/7. You get to set your own hours, you get to be the boss of you, and you get to decide what that looks like, but you must be disciplined. So I don't know if that answered your question, Gloria. I hope that it did.
Yeah, it did. And that's a great point about the discipline, and that kind of goes back to the whole 10X thing is you have, bottom line is it doesn't happen by osmosis or anything like that. Like it really, you have to put in the work basically. And that's what I tell some of the people that I work with is, now comes the grind. Really, you just have to grind it out. And some parts are not always the fun parts to do. You know, a lot of times we get into our own business because we feel like, oh yeah, you know, I'm really good at this. Like,
Mhm.
you know, like I work with people that do Facebook ads and stuff, and, you know, they're really good at you know, getting leads via Facebook, and they want to do that. But then it's not just being able to provide that service. It's, you know, you have to kind of market those services, you know, to let people know, you know, look, I am good at that type of stuff. So yeah, that's really, really important. So let me see. So, and I think we talked about the biggest thing that you can attribute to your success. And you were saying, and I know you touched on it, but let me go ahead and ask you, if you had to think, to say, what's the biggest thing that you could attribute to your success in these past 5 years? What would it be?
I have to say that it is developing an attitude, a positive attitude, and hopeful attitude.
Hmm. Hmm.
One of the things that happened, and maybe some of your audience can relate to this, is that when my husband became so ill,
Hmm.
it seemed like the future kind of disappeared for me. And I had always the eternal optimist, hey, we're going to rule the world, we're going to take things over, life is going to be abundant and fabulous and fantastic. And when you're hit with a crisis of whatever kind that is life altering, it can radically change your perspective, because my husband was so ill that I was really honestly afraid to look at the future, because I didn't, everything that they had told us was that he was not going to be in that future with me.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful and so blessed that my husband is doing well. In
Mhm.
fact, here I am in my home office and he's in there in the living room. So it
Right.
hasn't been easy, and it's been a very, very difficult journey. But in that process, what I had to do was reclaim my hope. And that
Mhm.
was a big theme when I first started my business, is that I called people to reclaim their hope and reignite their dreams, because that was the journey I was in.
Mhm.
And when you can really get hold of the few truths. First of all, that you are on this earth to change the world around you, that you are gifted and talented and marvelous and wonderful
Mhm.
just the way you are, and people are anxious and hungry for what you have to offer.
Yeah.
And then just every day do something to move your personal life and your business forward every single day. I recently started what I call my Seth Godin challenge, and it's not
Mhm.
because Seth Godin is, I'm not an affiliate of his, but
Right.
one thing that he says is to ship every day. Push that button and send something out into the world every single day that helps people know who you are. And you can only do that if you are hopeful and anticipate that it's going to get out there and do something for someone.
Yes.
So I would say that through the hard times and through the challenges is to just dig down deep inside of you and pull up that hope and
Mhm.
pull up that expectation that you're going to do something that's going to help someone. And I love how you said that earlier, Gloria, about that you have to really have a heart and attitude of serving people and not just about seeing dollar signs in people's faces, because if you do that, people know that.
Yeah.
So every day, whenever I come into my office and I sit down here at my computer, I think, what would I want someone to tell me if
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
struggling? How would I want someone to help me?
Yeah.
And because of the place where I come from, I really believe it's my responsibility to give answers from heaven for the problems we have on earth, and
Right.
to really break that out for people. And that's my point of view and my perspective. So that's my mission, my vision, my calling. And to operate in that place of powerful hope and optimism that
Yeah.
things will get better.
Yeah, 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 exactly. I think that's so important. You know, you touched on something about you want to make sure that you know what can I do? How can I be of service? But uh, I do the same thing. It's like what it's not about my standards, I guess, but I kind of go back to what do I think would be very, you know, really
Mhm.
helpful? What do I wish somebody would have shared with me X number of years prior, that would kind of maybe have alleviated a business struggle, or prevented me from diverting on a rabbit trail or something like that. And I think that is really important is, I was talking to one of my coaching students about lead magnets, and it motivated me to do a whole an article on the lead magnets and stuff. And it's like, how do you measure quality? It's like something, and I said something that would blow you away. If you were downloading it, if you were getting that content, what would absolutely blow you away? And I think that's really important is, you want to blow your audience away, know your audience, have a really high standard of what you want to give. And if you approach it from kind of that heart, that giving heart or that servant's heart, it comes a lot more naturally. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to struggle for it, for sure. So yeah, definitely. So what about advice? What kind of advice? Let's just say a lot of people that I, that have kind of seen me around for the past couple of years, seen Mike and I around. We were doing a lot of software, and obviously now we're focused mostly on our main product. But but I know that and I've talked to a lot of people through different mediums that they've kind of been struggling to get traction. Have tried one thing, it didn't work, and now they're not sure what to do. They kind of go and let me try this other thing. I got an email that said this thing was going to make me a lot of money, and so I tried that for a couple of weeks. It didn't get any traction, and then I tried this other thing. What kind of advice would you give some of our folks that are kind of struggling, and they're thinking like I don't know, I mean I've done a lot of different things and I'm not really seeing any good results from it. What kind of advice would you give them?
That's a big question.
I know it is. It really is a bit. Sorry.
Let me try to go just like from the seat of my pants and see if some great answer. I mean, I know what I believe about that, but let me just, first of all, I believe that 2/3 of our success easily is our mindset about what is possible and what we're supposed to be doing. And if you are stuck feeling like and thinking and telling yourself before you even start, this probably won't work for me, then you have set yourself up for failure because you're not going all in. Yeah. And I do believe, and from the people that I've worked with, we may be multi-passionate. We have multiple gifts and abilities to serve, but it comes back to that decision. How do you want to show up in the world? Yeah. What is it that you want to leave a legacy about, and who you want to be known as in the marketplace? And if you can really kind of get that set, then that gives you a wonderful springboard. And it's true that there are some things out there, and it's not that they have a better answer for you, it's that they had a better marketing plan that really drew you in. So to go back to that sense of clarity and decision, if you're clear about what you want to offer and who you want to offer it to, it will help you to filter out some of those false starts. But when you have a lot of that, it's probable that you've invested a lot of money in a lot of different courses and a lot of different workshops. Your computer's probably filled with links to courses and programs that you've purchased along the way, from $47 to $5,000 and more. And you can begin to feel like that there's something wrong with you, that there's something that somehow you're just not getting it, that there's a problem in you that makes you not able to succeed. And I would just tell that person, if you're listening now, that that's not the case. Yeah. It's not, you are not a failure, and it's not your fault that you haven't been able to make it work, unless you have chosen not to discipline yourself to do the work. Yeah. Then, though it's not a fault thing, it is a tendency that you need to maybe put yourself on a fast from purchasing any other products that you've, and this is maybe not the good thing to say because I have products that I love people and programs, but do yourself the favor and put yourself on a fast from purchasing any other programs, any other kind of things. Look back through what you've purchased and what you've tried, and look at them honestly and say, why didn't this work for me? Now, if it was just poor quality stuff, then just kick it to the side and go on to the next one. But if it's because you felt a little bit of confusion about how to make it work, if it's because it didn't feel in integrity for you, that it was something that you didn't, that just wasn't your kind of deal, then push that over to the side. If you had some questions, did you ask the people who created the program for more help? Did you email them and say, I'm really kind of stuck in this place? Have you considered hiring or working with a personal coach to help you get a roadmap to the direction that you want to go? That's a big, big thing to me. And it's something that I offer free to people who come to my website. They can apply for that. We spend an hour to 90 minutes and I help them decide on the basic structure of a roadmap, and they can take that and apply that on their own if they're a DIY kind of person, or if they want to work with me one-on-one, there's ways to do that as well. But it comes back to that clarity. But if you've spent a lot of money there, if you've spent a lot of time there and you feel like it's wasted, the first thing you need to do is just get off your own back and stop condemning yourself for not making it work. Because, see, this is the thing. You tried and you really worked at it, and you put your heart there on the line, and you trusted someone to give you an answer, and you thought that they were going to give you an answer. And for whatever reason that didn't happen, you can feel really guilty and ashamed and stuck in that place. And when you are trying to live your life and build your business out of this weight of feeling guilty and ashamed, and you don't want to tell people that it's not working, and you don't want to tell your spouse that you spent the money and it didn't help, you have to forgive yourself for that, and you have to release yourself from that weight so that you can go on, And so just in a personal inventory, a catalog inventory of the things that you've purchased, and a lot of forgiveness for yourself, and the willingness to just say, you know what, that was hard. I don't know why it really didn't work, but I'm just going to forgive myself, and I'm going to keep moving on. And I think that would be the best help for you.
Yeah, I think that's really sage advice, and it's important. I mean, you kind of want to balance things out, because there's like one end of the spectrum where somebody will, they'll purchase something and they'll think, just by virtue of purchasing it and not actually like digging in and actually applying it, it didn't work,
Right.
But just the purchase is kind of the same thing as osmosis. You have to actually like apply the work, right? And then there's the other end where it just wasn't a quality thing, and you would have to be forced to probably by the time you research yourself, you could probably do a better course yourself or whatever. And one of the things that I think is really important too is it's skill. Sometimes you find something that you think, I want to say do Facebook ads or LinkedIn marketing or whatever that is, but you don't yet have the skills to do it, and so you have to give yourself the time to become proficient in the skill set. And then on top of that, there's the marketing of it. And then on top of that, once you market, depending on your marketing process and your sales process, you might have to like do sales presentations and stuff like that. If you don't know really how to sell very well, then there's a bunch of there's this road, and there's different places that could veer off or could kind of throw you off your game. And I think it is really important just to stay you're right, and it starts with the mindset. It starts with the belief, the mindset, the forgiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you've kind of done that, then you kind of have to go out on on a leap of faith, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I coach, like in talking with people, I say, look, there there are more ways to make money than hours of the day. Then
Right.
you have hours of the day. You know what I'm saying? And you name it, somebody's made a success out of it. They've
Mm-hmm.
made money offering Facebook ads. They've made money offering LinkedIn services. They've made money offering Instagram, made money doing websites, doing SEO, doing video marketing, doing coaching, and so on and so forth. So, so the way that you have chosen, saying, I want to do this, it's probably, it has the potential to be successful. You
Right.
have the potential to be successful at it, but there's all those other things, kind of those things that we were talking about in the mindset, the
Mm-hmm.
belief system, all that, in addition to kind of the more practical type of stuff
Mm-hmm.
as well. So yeah, it's a whole host of stuff.
It is. And that's why I call my academy, so to speak, skill school,
Mhm.
because
It's a great
what I
name.
want to do is help people find those different layers, because we aren't just born into business
That's
knowing
right.
how to do this. And we think, oh, I was successful somewhere else. This should be easy for me. And building an entrepreneurial business is not easy. It can be simple, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, because you need those layers and the pieces, so that what happens is somebody says, well, I'm going to put up a blog, and then they're freaked out because nobody comes to it, because they haven't learned the skill of SEO. They haven't learned the skill of marketing. They don't know that. It doesn't mean you can't learn it. So just to give you, I love how you put that, Gloria, that it's important to build those skills and give yourself time to learn them and just layer them on,
Mhm.
and you will become more and more confident, and that confidence breeds success, whatever that means to you.
Yes, yeah, that's so true. It's a lot of it is a confidence issue.
Yeah.
That's what I found very true. This has just been fantastic. So Donna Woolham, and then it is the you want to go to her website, which is the workathomequeen.com. You want to go
Mhm.
ahead and check that out. I really appreciate your time, and we absolutely must stay in touch since we're
Yes.
in the same town, right? So
Right.
yeah, definitely. So let's stay in touch. I'm looking forward to hearing about your successes. And yeah, you guys check Donna's website out at workathomequeen.com, theworkathomequeen.com. All right. Thanks a lot, Donna.
Thank you so much, Gloria. I so appreciate it. And I
Mhm.
just do encourage people, if you haven't really, I know that you're part of Gloria's community, but if you haven't really dug into what she's doing and what she has to offer, get back in there and dig back into what she has. It is really, really powerful. And I want to thank you for sharing all of that information with me, Gloria.
You bet. Thanks a lot. We'll talk soon, Donna.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.